Peeps, we are back and we are here with a Halloween Horror Nights update, a new house, some speculation, and more. This week, Universal Studios announced that both in Orlando and in Universal Studios Hollywood, we will see haunted houses at Halloween Horror Nights themed to The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix.
Be afraid of the dark. Don't go in there. Don't go in there. Don't go in there. Leave. Don't go in there. Be afraid of the dark. Don't go in there. Leave. Don't go in there. Don't. Or you'll never leave. You're about to enter Hill House. It's coming to Halloween Horror Nights. Never go alone.
The Haunting of Hill House is actually the first season of the Netflix show created by Mike Flanagan, who, if you're not familiar with, he also did the Dr. Sleep movie. He also did a movie named Oculus. Gerald's Game, also a Netflix show. The Haunting of Hill House tells the story. If you haven't seen it, I actually recommend going and watching it. It's a great show. You just have to give it a few episodes before it really hits its stride. But the story itself is actually about a family dealing with loss and grief of a loved one, which is an interesting theme for a Halloween Horror Nights house, right? I mean, it's very much a family drama, especially during the first half of the season. However, as the season progresses and the horror elements pick up more and more, Hill House itself is a haunted place and has some great set design, some great creature design, and I think what we'll see in this Halloween Horror Nights house, as evidenced by some of the pictures you're seeing right here, is we're going to see some of the iconic scenes and iconic locations and characters from Haunting of Hill House, including the Red Room, maybe the Dumbwaiter, the Statue Room. We're going to see some characters like the Tall Man and the Bent Neck Lady, maybe even the Ghost in the Basement. So even though the show itself certainly is an interesting choice to make a Halloween Horror Nights house, with all of those cool characters and that beautiful set design, I think it'll make for a really beautiful house. I think we'll see some really cool monsters, depending on the scare acting. I think it'll be a show or a house that transcends the show. I think you'll be able to enjoy it as a haunted house, even if you may not have seen the show, because I think the concept of a haunted house with monsters and cool characters lends itself better than perhaps some other shows like maybe American Horror Story, where if you don't watch the show, some of the scenes may not be things that resonate with you. Why Haunting of Hill House instead of Haunting of Bly Manor, which is newer? I think Haunting of Hill House was originally scheduled to be at Halloween Horror Nights last year, to coincide with the release of Haunting of Bly Manor, which came out last summer on Netflix. Now, obviously, we're 2 years removed from Haunting of Hill House, though, like I said, a lot of the characters and things like that kind of transcend the show, so I think you'll still be able to enjoy it, even if the show's not fresh in your mind or if you haven't seen it yet. Now, will Bly Manor be there next year? Hard to say. Like I said, we're 2 years removed now from Hill House. Next year will be 2 years removed from Bly Manor. It won't necessarily be as relevant unless perhaps there's another season of the show to keep the show fresh in people's minds. I think, again, the reason we're seeing Hill House this year is because it was originally scheduled last year, maybe a little closer to the release of the show, and they just had everything already prepared for it, so we're seeing it come this year instead. So one interesting thing is that currently on the Halloween Horror Nights website, HalloweenHorrorNights.com, it's right here, you can see that 2 houses are currently listed, Beetlejuice and Haunting of Hill House, which is funny because a few weeks ago they announced that Jack would be in a house. So what this tells us is that the house itself hasn't been announced yet. Jack will be in the houses, but we don't actually know what the house is named officially yet. So with this week's announcement of The Haunting of Hill House, we now have 5 houses that we know about of the 10 announced for Halloween Horror Nights. We've got Haunting of Hill House, Beetlejuice, Puppet Theater, Captive Audience, The Bride of Frankenstein Lives, and The Tooth Fairy. So with that in mind and those 5 houses, what's next? There are certainly speculation maps out there that say perhaps the next announcement for Halloween Horror Nights, if it's an IP theme, maybe the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, maybe the next house we see announced. Or maybe we'll see some of the original concepts announced or the return of another icon. One thing's for sure is that we're learning this year that in addition to the announcements that have been trickled out from Universal Orlando, there's going to be some type of themed merchandise coinciding with the event. So I'm not wearing it right now, but I did get my Jack is Back shirt, and I ordered my Haunting of Hill House shirt that came out the same day as the announcement. So keep an eye out for announcements and make sure that you check out shop.universalorlando.com at the same day, because there will very likely be a shirt to coincide with each announcement going forward leading up to the event. So with less than 2 months to go, what do you want to see announced next for Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Orlando Resort? Leave us a comment down below. Make sure to hit the like button, the notification button, the subscribe button. That way you're notified when our next video comes up. We will absolutely be at Halloween Horror Nights this year. We are waiting for frequent fear passes to go on sale. As everyone can attest online, they're not on sale yet, only single day tickets. But once those are available, we'll certainly be purchasing it, and hopefully we'll see you out there. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.